So happy weekend, everyone. I made a post that I said there's not much to update on Bitcoin, so I requested some altcoins to look at. So I'm gonna do that first. Very quick BTC update. Watch my former videos for the more advanced outlooks. But we are in this local range since Tuesday, basically been deviating the uh, high range high, then went directly to the range low, deviated that, went back into the range and then last Friday, we deviated the range high again and back in the range. And right now, price is in like this value area. So very tight range, basically within it. So nothing much to do here except look for your PYs. This supply is my PY for potential lower high, or if we flip it, look for rotations higher up. Local PY is this value area low with the demand. Fall below this, and I'm pretty sure we will go to new lows where still a lot of sell side liquidity is resting, as explained in former videos. Hold the value area low and range, just look for range rotations and play the range. For the beside that, not much to update. So I have an alert at the demand and at the supply. Then I will now quickly go over the other alts. I won't try to make it too long. Hype was requested a few times, so I'm just gonna start at the weekly, and then what do I see on the weekly time frame, and then go lower. So when I move up, down, range, deviation above, yeah, on the weekly, nothing super interesting. I have not analyzed them before, so this is just all from a fresh start. Here I see some demand. Could say that this was your first important high, so make that a horizontal level. Some supply at the highs right there. These are just quick analysis, nothing too interesting. Yeah, let's go to the daily. Can we see something interesting? So you could say that this was your range, where this was your your deviation above the highs, and that since then price has lost the range right here, back tested it, and since there currently holding below this key level, supply above, and here you could also say this is a horizontal level where you first had your push up, a range, deviation below, reclaim, and then the move to all-time highs. So this was an interesting level where the deviation was, and price is now slowly moving back to that level. So then we can zoom in some more. I see that the downtrend is weakening a bit, because here you have a clean downtrend like this, and right now you see that the strength of the downtrend is weakening, aka a range seems to be in the making, where this is the range to look at, and this was the 10-10 wick that has been taken out, so that's interesting to see. I see a range, tab 1, tab 2, price created some demand right here, so that's demand to watch for, demand like there. Price also some supply at the mid range right there, so with demand below, supply above, potential deviation right here, but in this leg there is not really any good structure, especially in this last leg, especially on the 8 hours. So we can look, is this truly a range I want to play? Yeah, I would say this is your range. This is good looking demand, potentially for your, depends on how you come back. What I would love to see is, because this move down doesn't have any good structure, so it's pretty aggressive. That's not usually what I like. So a way that I'm interested in longs is if we maybe get away into this supply, break structure, and then with a controlled move come down, and then potentially look for a accumulation model, where this is your 1, this is your deviation, and then a slight tap into this demand for your 1, 2, 3, target the range high. That's how I would play this range. Beside that range, yeah, like if we zoom out back to the daily, not super interesting to me. Lose this. Yeah, you can also look potentially for a 1, 2, 3 model 1 for reversal. Let's see what the trend line, yeah, like that would also be a potential play, where you get that move up, then have a better return to zone, like this, is in line with your 1, 2, 3, maybe reject, and then from there, like we know the third tap is often the fake one, and then you have your 1, 2, 3 model 1 flowing over into model 2, and then look for reversal. That's what I would look at now for potential plays. What do we see? Volume profile, value area low is the range high. So yeah, that are the two levels I would look at for hype. Beside that, yeah, not super interesting chart, mostly range bound between here and here. That is hype. SUI. I haven't looked at SUI in a long time. I focus only on only on Solana and BTC basically, and then some other coins. Okay, on the 3-day, let's first go quickly to the weekly. Here, this looks like, yeah, so here you deviated the high. Consider this is your sweep, then the 10-10 crash came right here, very deep wick into this demand right there, and then since there price has been unable to reclaim the range, so we can look. By now we know this is our range, this was our important range low, and this is the 10-10 wick. Often you fill 50% of the wick. Well, that happened. What has happened after that? You have not too clean of a range formation. You could say this is your low, this is your high. This was kind of a deep deviation, and then I would look for a move to the range lows, where basically this is then your new range to play, with a range low right here. Not much to hold it up because this wick is still super deep, and above, yeah, you had some supply, but it's getting mitigated right there. Same is true for this level. This looks more like a supply chain, where you, yeah, I have to identify this on the low time frame, but not gonna do this to make it too long. Not really interested in SUI until those lows get swept, because what can you see? You see low, 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 4 stacked lows, aka very likely to sweep this sell side liquidity if you want to make a healthy, sustainable move up like that. Also, this last move down is super aggressive, so usually that's a signal that you go lower. Probably some demand in this leg right here. There, that price tapped into here. But yeah, this is not a chart I like. This is like a big move up, failure to close above, and then aggressive move down again. So I would honestly expect like a lower high, and then next major PY is at range low, and then see what happens from there. SUI, last one, IOTA. Someone requested this. My crypto journey basically began with IOTA, so I'm interested. I have looked at this in a very, very long time. Yeah, that's not looking good. Like this is the lowest point before this scan pump, and this is like your last horizontal level, and price is now below that. So with a very quick look, this is a chart I don't like at all. Strong supply right there, and then yeah, to me this is not a chart I like at all until you at least reclaim this key level. So get back above that, form like a good rounding bottom or sweep at least your lows, and then potentially a way up. But yeah, this to me this looks like not good at all. So not needed to identify it further. This is just a massive weakness. So that were the quick altcoin requests. I will just do this more often, and I will also identify them a bit deeper, but right now I want to keep it short because it's Saturday. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the weekend and wish you all a happy weekend as well.